Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I just wanted to real quickly thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers, but I know that's not the reason you're here, so let's get into the video. Subscribe if you enjoy. Today we're reviewing a head-to-head classic debate, PS5 or Xbox controller, specifically Battle Beavers. These are both Battle Beavers. I'm not sure if you could see, but both Battle Beaver controllers, both have control freaks, both have two buttons in the back. You can't really tell on this one, but this one has two buttons as well. And we're just gonna go over them, see what's better. I've been using Xbox like many people my whole life, so you would think that Xbox would be my preferred choice. However, just recently I've got about maybe 2 weeks experience with the PlayStation controller. And I did want to break this up kind of into three different categories because I feel there are three important categories to a controller. The first being feel, the second being accessories, and the third being overall performance. So we're going to rank these up against each other on those three categories and see which one outperforms the other based on my experience. Now, I should say this is mostly based off FPS games that I play, but yeah, let's go into it. In terms of comfortability, I've been using Xbox controller my entire life, and in the 2 weeks of using the PlayStation 5 controller, I can already say that it is not nearly as comfortable as the Xbox controller, nor will it ever be. The Xbox controller just contours so nicely to the grip of your hand and just makes it much more snug of a fit. If you pick up the PS5 controller, you can immediately tell that the sides of the controller and the back just doesn't fit as well. It's not as natural of a hold. So definitely losing points there for the comfortability portion of this. You'll also notice the PlayStation 5 controller is definitely a bit longer than the Xbox controller. Side to side, there's more area. Up and down, the Xbox controller definitely is a bit chubbier, but the PS5 controller, in terms of length, is much longer, making it a more difficult hold for all hands, particularly if you have smaller hands. It's going to be tougher to reach that left thumbstick and that right thumbstick versus the Xbox controller. So point goes to Xbox for the comfortability side of things. Just much more comfortable, particularly in that left thumb spot. Now, in terms of accessories for this, it's actually very comparable, obviously. Both these controllers seem to be very similar in terms of the buttons that they have, right? You have two back paddles right here. You have your joysticks right here and here. And obviously, I like to go with control freaks on either side, raised right stick, mid-level left stick. In terms of the buttons in the front, the D-pad's very similar. Now, the biggest difference on these controllers is in the center of the controller, as you can see here. The Xbox controller has two center buttons right here, whereas the PlayStation controller actually has three, if you think about it. So it has, here is a button up top, another one up top, but then this whole pad right here is actually also a button. So by that logic, the PlayStation controller actually has an extra button that has easy access. If you're playing right here, you can easily go over and just click that and it'll register on top of the controller. So this button is actually big time when it comes to gaming, and just having an extra bind is always going to go a long way. Other than that, I would say that Xbox actually has accessories that are more central and easier to press. For example, this left thumbstick is so much easier to navigate than the PlayStation controller. So it definitely presents a little bit of a learning curve, particularly if you have small hands. You're going to have trouble hitting this left stick on the PlayStation 5 controller. So that is definitely something to think about when purchasing a controller. You might have some trouble on the PS5, and it definitely just feels super foreign to someone like me who grew up with Xbox. So that being said, I've gotten used to it very, very quickly, and honestly, it's not a problem anymore. So I'm going to actually give the slight edge in accessories to PlayStation for the extra button and just for the overall feel of the buttons when you click them. I actually really like the feel of the click of the triggers on this controller. It's very similar to the Xbox one, but just something about the wider triggers feels really good. And it just, everything feels really clean on this, very snappy and responsive. And I think that goes forward to the next section, performance, which we'll get to in a minute. I want to preface this section by stating that no matter what Battle Beaver you go with, whether Xbox or PlayStation, you're going to have very, very strong performance. Your skill's going to go up right upon getting these controllers, particularly because of the buttons in the back, as well as the digital triggers, and just the overall build of this controller is so much superior to any other controller or, you know, obviously a standard Xbox controller, in my opinion. So your skill's going to go up regardless. But what I will say is I've used Xbox for a long time, and I definitely plateaued after a while. Upon getting this controller, I took quite a step back, to be honest, just so I could learn. But after, a few days, I was already on par with what I was on my Xbox controller. And I attribute a lot of that to the response time on this controller. There's not much input delay. This PS5 controller's input delay is actually less than the Xbox controller's input delay by about half. Now, we're talking milliseconds here, so it's really not a big notice, and I can't say it was the first thing I noticed when I switched to this controller. But I don't know, man, something about this controller and just being able to be snappier and feel more responsive and more in control of your character is just so glaring to me. I really love the performance I'm getting from this controller. It just feels so good. Maybe it's because I'm too early and I haven't given it enough time, but I really have given it a couple weeks now. I didn't want to make this video right away, but hopefully it's not because I'm in the honeymoon phase. I will say I feel more responsive. My aim from close range feels a lot better in Apex Legends, which is the main game I play. Mid-range to long range, I'm still getting used to it. I can definitely feel it, and I don't know if that's attributed to a difference in the sticks or the triggers, but I definitely need a little bit of work. So Xbox, I'm not gonna lie, great aim, I feel good, but it just feels like my floor is higher here, but my ceiling is capped. Whereas on this PlayStation, I really do feel like if it's not for you, it's not for you. But at the same time, if you're looking to get as cracked as you can, I think this is the controller for you. So with that, I'm going to give the slight edge in performance to this controller. I just think it feels really good. You can have an extra bind to improve your performance. You know, reworks a few different things. Overall, I gotta go with, if you're going to get a Battle Beaver, get a PS5 Battle Beaver. And one other thing I'll just add really quick before the end of the video is you have two options on your controllers. One, you can get, and pardon the sweat marks, the hard buttons in the back that are kind of rough texture and make a loud click. Or, and this is the one I recommend, invest in getting the soft buttons. Both are available in the store at Battle Beaver when you're ordering a controller and you're customizing it. But these buttons are way better. Like, it feels more responsive, more clicky. So maybe that's a little bit of bias because I don't have soft buttons for this controller. I only have it for this one, but they feel nice and they definitely help. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed, definitely drop a sub. Let me know what you want to see next. Leave a like on this video, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.